Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Concept Show, exclusive here on the PA UK radio network. And yes, it's me again, giving the intro. I'm getting actually quite used to this. Unfortunately, Kerry's not with us this evening. She's not feeling too well. So me and Paul got together and we had a long chat, and we've actually decided to give her the evening off. Isn't that right, Paul?
It is, and it was very much debated.
Yeah. No, but we thought, oh, okay, because we're not that hard to work with, are we?
Debatable, I think.
So, Paul, tell me, what have you been up to? As if I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've just started literally my own crystal pendant business where I make my own crystal pendants. I buy them off Kerry and make them absolutely spectacular. So people can actually wear them around their necks or put them on dog collars and things like that. I thought that was quite a good idea.
It's looking quite good because you actually done a live the other day, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I done like a crystal showcase, a bit like Kerry does with crystals.
Yeah.
I sold a few, so I'm quite pleased with that.
Well, it always seems to be a bit of a winning formula for Kerry. I mean, she gets a lot of business that way, so yeah,
absolutely.
Why not?
I mean, Kerry, she does a wonderful business, and she sells loads through her lives. But literally, I'm just on the first rung of that ladder, and it's probably going to be a slow-going process. But I'll stick with it.
These things are a bit of a slow burn, but you don't know. I mean, and you don't know until you try, do you?
Absolutely. No, that's it. I mean, although the shop's geared up for UK sales, I will ship anywhere. Just if people tell me what they want, I'm quite happy to provide that. So, yeah, I mean, if anyone is interested in the sort of stuff that I've got, it's on my website, which is www.therooksnest.co.uk.
Oh, the Rook's Nest. So, go over there, guys, and check that out.
Absolutely. We are on Facebook as well, so...
Yeah, and for those of us... And for those of you that have been following us on Facebook, you would have noticed that me and Paul went out at the weekend.
We did. Yeah, that was a good day out, that.
We went on the trail of the Black Shuck.
Yeah, we didn't find him, but I did do an artist's adaptation of it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, very, very amusing.
Well, that's what he would look like,
No, but that was a good day out. We sort of visited a couple of churches, and we travelled along the coast road a bit as well, didn't we? So we went to the seaside as well. So that
we did. We didn't stop for an ice cream, but it was getting a bit late by then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So tell us, Paul, what have we got planned for this evening?
Okay, well, sort of linking in almost to our road trip with the Black Shark and cryptids of the UK. We're going to jump straight across to the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, where our very good friend Jay is there waiting for us. And he looks at cryptids as well, but in obviously the US. So, hello, Jay.
Howdy, how you guys doing tonight?
Not too bad at all. Yeah,
it sounds like you've had a great time without me, and that kind of bums me out.
Well, we did, try to invite you, but
you're always welcome, Jay. You're always
absolutely.
Welcome. It's just that pond's a bit difficult to get over, isn't it?
It's a little bit much for me to swim.
You get a boat; it's quicker.
Definitely quicker than me swimming it. Trust me.
I heard you've been on a bit of a road trip as well lately.
Oh yeah, we've been all over the place. So here, the most recent one was up at Collingwood Arts Center here, and it's a phenomenal location. And had such a great night there, and it was a benefit for the building. All the proceeds went back to the building. So, but it was great. We got so many coming up too. It's I can't even keep track of them all. Between Jason and Teresa, they tell me where to show up and what time to be where, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, because it seems a lot of your sort of investigations and stuff you do tie into charities, etc., don't you?
Oh, and when they're public ones like that, they're almost always tied in with the charity. It always goes back to either for the building or to a local animal shelter or food pantry. You name it, we've done charity events for it. Just because I enjoy to do it, it gives me an excuse to go investigate more.
Yeah.
Meet more.
Have you got a charity that you raise money for yourself, as opposed to going out with to other groups with their charities?
It varies. We've had people come to us that's needed help for different things.
Mhm.
I used to be associated with a lot of the motorcycle clubs doing poker, what we call poker runs, where they all get together and ride and stuff. But it always raised money for children's charities or children's hospitals.
Yeah.
You name it. Me and when Rick Rose, God rest his soul, was still alive, we even did a thing where every $100 increment, one of us would take a portion of our body and have it waxed, and we raised a
Ow.
yeah. We would do dang near anything if it's going to a good cause. The last one next one we're supposed to do is for a policeman's suicide thing, that because Jason is a deputy sheriff here in Ohio, and so we're giving back to the first responders.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, fantastic work. Yeah, so what's your next one coming up?
Next event?
Yeah.
Next event will be here at 101. Actually, I'm just going over that day. Teresa is a metaphysical day. They will have psychic mediums there doing readings and healers and all kinds of things going on that day. There will be an investigation that night and stuff, but we're getting people coming down from Canada for it, coming up from 2 and 3 states away. We're here in Ohio. That'll be in Indiana, so we're going over to Indiana for that. We're going to get people out in Illinois and just all around to help out with this thing. And it's all going to good causes there too. There's, I think, 2 or 3 charities they're hoping to raise money for with that.
Yeah, are you going just as yourself doing the investigation, or are you going to be dressing up?
No, I'm going just to go have a good time. I don't do any of those wonderful. I don't have any of those talents to healing or psychic abilities. I'm psychotic.
But the girls have been on to you for a long time. I mean, you have tried it, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I've tried it. I opened up to it for a little while, and my experience wasn't something I was ready for. And I'm like, nope. If I really can't do this, apparently I don't want to do this. So we'll go back to doing it my way.
Right. Okay. So at least you gave it a go, anyway.
Oh, absolutely. But eventually I'll give it a go again, because I've never been smart enough to learn my lesson the first time. It usually takes me 2 or 3 times before I really you know what? Maybe I ought to not do that. It's like when I go investigating, people still cringe because I do things in a lot of different ways. And one of the ones we was at here recently, I don't know if you guys saw, we were there at a Davies house in Indiana, Kokomo, Indiana, and there's been some murders and suicides in it, and there was some drug use and stuff that's been in the house at one point in time. And once again, Teresa cringed because I did like I always do. I tell them, I introduce myself, tell them they can hit me, kick me, scratch me, push me. They can channel through me, and they can even possess me for communication. And every time everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you just said that. I cannot believe you just offered that. I'm like, why not?
Yeah, but do they ever take you up on that offer? That's the issue.
No, and a little over 11 years of doing this, nothing has ever possessed me or tried to channel through me or anything like that. Everybody says because I'm crazy and they don't want to be in my head. I might tend to agree with that.
So, saying that, I mean, how did you get into the paranormal? You say about 11 years there. I mean, looking back now, are you where you thought you would be 11 years ago?
Absolutely not. I was not even a skeptic back then. I was explicitly dismissive of everything. I was very basic about life. If I figured why I looked at things, it's real simple. If I couldn't figure it out or explain it, then what is above my pay grade and what for me to worry about. I just dismissed it all. We went to an investigation because Teresa's always been into it. She's always had amazing abilities and stuff, and she kept it kind of low key because of me. Thought I was going to make fun of her things. We went to a investigation at a post elementary school on a public night investigation, and she's like, "I really want you to go." I said, "I'll go with you." And she goes, "Well, I really want you to go, but I really want you to be open minded about things." And I was. And we met Joe Kudo, my brother and best friend. From the first night I went, I met Joe. We've been together doing stuff ever since. But he sit down and talk with me about it. And I grew up doing outdoors things. I was more into the hunting and the fishing and the farming and that things. So he's like, okay. Him and Brian Hensley said, okay, if you go fishing all day and you don't catch a fish, I'm like, it's happened many times. He goes, so they don't exist. I'm like,
Yeah, I suppose that's a good analogy.
they put it in that simplest terms and analogy to challenge my own thought process.
Yeah.
And I've absolutely been open-minded about things since. I'm still very skeptic, but I'm also very open-minded about, just because I can't make sense of it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Doesn't mean that those people did not experience it because I can't figure it out and make sense of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've often thought, spinning it completely around, you've got like the house full of ghosts, and they're all sitting there going, "Oh, I'm going to go peopling tonight, or people hunting tonight."
Yeah, it's funny to sort of like to listen to your sort of story, Jay, and how you sort of got into it. And whereas myself, and I think I can speak for Paul here, we've always sort of had an interest in the paranormal, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. I mean, mine stemmed from childhood.
Yeah,
well
same here.
before the Most Haunted and the other TV shows that I don't watch anymore. A lot of people start at that point. Where me, it stems from a Reader's Digest book of unexplained mysteries.
Which I have actually. I was looking at it
Yeah.
earlier today because I was trying to think of some show ideas.
Yeah, I've still got mine in my drawer, my filing cabinet drawer.
Yeah,
My dad actually gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's excellent." Well impressed. That's where I started from.
Teresa's like that. She's always had an interest in it since she was a child, and it was always her and her dad would talk about. Like I said, my family's always so very basic and very nature based that we didn't really, like I said, if it was above my pay grade. It's not meant for me to understand. Focus on what you can do. Keep your head to the grindstone and get things done. That was
So
basically.
you had like the hunting background.
Yeah.
So you obviously wasn't into the whole ghosts and stuff like that. But what about like woodland spirits and things like that? Did you not have an interest in those?
With my family,
it sort of goes hand in hand with hunting.
Well, you would think so, but with my family was such a my grandfather down in Kentucky was old backwoods Presbyterian with the hammer and the snakes and all that stuff, and most of my family was Southern Baptist, and anything like that was just dismissed or was the devil's work or whatever, or it was just old backwoods superstitions, because my family's out of the Appalachia Mountains and not the Alpaca Mountains.
Not the Alpaca Mountains.
He's not here to pick on, so I had to say it. But there's a lot of old stories back then, and a lot of them were brought over here with the immigrants when they came over, especially the Irish and the Scots that settled in the area, and some of the Germans. But then they also incorporated a lot of the Native Americans and then kind of melded the two together and came up with new things and different explanations and stuff. So it was either a superstition or just an old ghost story and dismissed. Where now, once I get involved with the paranormal and I get out in the woods, I look at it and I'm like, how much I actually just dismissed and how much I truly missed out on experiences of life in general. It just amazes me. And it's kind of sad, but kind of like glad I finally opened my eyes to it now.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into any of these stories?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm one of the founding members of the North American Dogman Project. I was the tracker for the Dog Boys, the investigative team. And it doesn't matter what it is nowadays. If it's urban legends, cryptids, paranormal, UFOs, if somebody says they saw something, I want to go investigate it. I want to see how close I can get, if I can find any evidence. If I do find evidence, how far can I track it? How much communication and contact can I have with it?
And have you found Dogman yet?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I actually see quite recently, it was a news story from Australia, I think it was, where they shot dead what they claimed was a dogman because they've never seen any breed like it. And to me, it just looked like a dingo type of animal.
Yeah, it could have been what a dingo with mange.
Possibly, yeah.
That's like the chupacabra. There's a lot of those that end up being dogs. In fact, the last one I saw a picture of a chupacabra, it ended up being a small black bear with the mange.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've seen a few videos actually. Yeah, I saw one there, and they were following one down the road, and you can see, it was sort of, the poor thing. Yeah, but it did. Yeah. Plus, don't you get some crossbreeds with coyotes and domestic dogs and stuff?
oh yeah, there's a lot of that going around. They call them either coy dogs usually, or because I don't know, because usually the gene that takes the dominance is the coyote. The
Yeah,
biggest problem with those around here is that they have all the instincts of the coyote, but no fear of man, like from the domesticated dog. So they
right.
get more brazen and bold and come up closer to where people are at and around houses and children and other pets.
Yeah. Is
Well,
there any cross species that might account for the Bigfoot?
Not that I can name. I mean, I really don't. There could be, but there hasn't been any large bipedal things like that besides humans in the Americas in forever. I mean, there was the giant sloth.
Yeah, I was watching a documentary about the Bigfoot, and they said something about it could possibly be a cross species between the black bear and the brown bear.
Uh,
I don't know how plausible that is because I'm not.
it might be plausible, but I can't see them being the way that they're described. The whole face features is completely different because they would still have a bear feature, so it'd have more of a snout and than what and a muzzle than what a human does or
yeah,
humanoid. It would be way different in its physical features. Also, they always say it looks like a very large humanoid, not a bear. Bears got totally different body structure, shoulders, hips, everything.
Yeah.
Longer torso than what a human has.
yeah.
Uh,
Even I mean, and even I'd like to think I could tell the difference between a bear and a Bigfoot, and we don't have bears over here, so
no.
I absolutely got in a lot of trouble when I first got involved with coming out, speaking more about the cryptids and stuff, and with the cryptid community, because some of my thought processes, everybody's like, especially with the dog man, so like, well, they're extremely ravenous, they're dangerous, they're carnivores, they're just. I'm like, if you had something that large, killing off animals to eat, there's no way it could stay hidden for long
No, that's right.
because it'd be leaving too much evidence of carcasses and everything else on hunting and things.
Mm.
I was like, they have to be more to me. They'd be since you brought the bears, they'd have to be more like a bear. They'd have to be more of an omnivore because the majority of bears' fat doesn't come from killing; it comes from berries and grubs and all those things. Because it's too big and to really hunt effectively. And as we know, all creatures that hunt, their percentages of success are extremely low.
Well, yeah,
And
yeah,
you're going to maintain that kind of body mass and energy. You're going to have a lot of something all the time.
yeah, because they talk about Bigfoot's being a sort of, well, I think about 8 foot
Yeah,
considered a short one, isn't it?
yeah. Absolutely. So you think about that and think about it the size of a bear and how much they have to consume. And these things are bigger and stronger than a bear. There's no way they can survive on just meat alone and not be more active and out. Well, polar bears. Look at polar bears. Humans are just another source of prey to them.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
polar.
something that big and that with big of an appetite wouldn't think a thing about taking more people. Or is that why all the people disappear into the parks here in the United States?
Yeah, it's a good possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, throw in another possible.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you
it.
talk.
Yeah, going into the missing 411 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why they're going missing. But yeah, but some of them are found again though. That's the
Yeah.
strange bit about it, I think.
And
Especially when like the child disappeared, I think it was, and then it was like found 300 kilometers away or something. And,
yeah, an astronomical amount of distance for a child to travel that amount of time.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It is a weird one. Although I think the weirdest bit was when they were talking about the creature that was jumping through the trees that was cloaked, like the predator. That was a really weird one.
That's
And I don't know what she was smoking, but I might want to try some of that sometimes.
yeah. I'll have a pint of that.
yeah, because something's going on there that I think they've seen too many movies.
Absolutely,
Mm.
I do. But it's great conversation pieces, isn't
Absolutely,
it?
I'm up for any discussion on any topic.
Yeah, no,
That's the
excellent.
bad part about me. I will discuss just about anything. If I don't know, I will tell you I don't know, and I will go look it up.
Well, that's
Well,
what it's all
yeah.
about, isn't it? The
Mm.
research side of things.
Yeah, if you don't know something, either go and find somebody that does know, or as you say, just look it up. I mean, I think that's one of the good things about particularly the pursuits we do, be it cryptids, paranormal and stuff. I mean, you can read up a lot about it as well. There's a lot of literature out there, and I think a lot of people fail to actually sort of sit down and read books and sort of stuff about it. I think it would broaden your sort of landscape if you know what I mean. Sort of I know it's something I get a lot out of reading about the paranormal. I mean, what about you, Jay? Are you a great sort of reader, or
No, I was never big on reading before, which I did a lot more before
mm,
I got involved with the paranormal than what I do now. But also, about the time I got involved with paranormal, about a year after I got involved with paranormal, I also got involved with podcasting. So I've spent about 10 years now doing different podcasts on smaller networks. Uh, and there for a while, I did 4 shows a week for a couple of years. I spent more time actually getting to and being blessed for, in my opinion, because I got to talk to such a different array of people all the time
yeah,
about topics
I
and things.
suppose that was. Yes, and I can see your point there. I mean, and doing podcasting, yeah, is a very good segue into the paranormal, and obviously in interviewing people, you can sort of glean a lot from it.
Oh, absolutely. And then, like I said, when we first got involved with paranormal, we went to post elementary school, and we got so involved that we actually ended up moving into the school and lived there for about 4.5 years. So the first 4.5 years I was in paranormal investigating, I lived in a prominent haunted location that was 36,000 some square feet that I was pretty much could investigate 3, 4, 5 nights a week, and I did.
Yeah.
I stayed always testing things and meeting new people, new teams coming in, and them giving different ideas and opinions, and allowing me a lot of times, all of them, just about all but 1 or 2 teams allowed me to stay with them, or come back up at midnight and then stay the rest of the night with them, and getting to learn their different techniques and different pieces of equipment that they had. And so I just took it all in. I took the first 4.5, 5 years doing nothing but learning everything I could about the field, talking to anybody and everybody, podcast after podcast, listening to them, hosting them, being with investigative teams, traveling with them. It was just constant learning before me and Teresa ever started stepping out doing other things.
Yeah.
Cool. So how did you get that house with that was haunted, the school?
Oh, it's just Daryl and Brenda Wisman actually the ones that run it and stuff, and they lived in there also, and we just me and Daryl just hit things off. We became quick friends and stuff, and we was some coming over there all the time to help with the investigations, whether it was meeting the teams, giving them walkthroughs and tours and stuff, and then going back up and checking with them at midnight, see how they're doing things. That and ended up just where we was there so much that he's like, there's an apartment back here. You guys want to? Which was over the apartment was over 18,000 or 1,800 square feet just for apartment, bigger than a lot of people's houses over here. But
Yeah.
that we just ended up moving in, living there, and helping out with everything that was going on. And thank God they allowed us, because we got, like I said, we got that opportunity to just focus in on learning and listening and meeting and talking to.
Yeah.
And Teresa says it all the time. It doesn't matter who you talk to, you're going to learn something from them. It may be something that you don't like and don't want to do, but you still learned that. You still had your mind open to that, and you had to make that judgment call whether you agreed or disagreed, but you still learned what you like or don't like. So you're still learning the process.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you, yeah. It's interesting. It's all about who you know then, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And that's a big thing with this field. It's not just who you know, it's how you know them and how much you rely upon them or trust them for what you're doing and your information.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's very beneficial then to basically go out and go to these conventions and stuff like that, and meet new people and new teams.
Absolutely. I'm a firm supporter and believer in conventions, and it doesn't matter whether it's a small one or a big one. We go to as many as we can possibly get to for that very reason, to be able to network.
Yeah.
we're booked for Vulture City Con in October, so they're actually me and Teresa will be flying up to Vulture City in Arizona, just south of Phoenix and stuff. So
Oh, right. So now, sort of like the COVID sort of seems to be sort of backing down. What you're sort of going out more?
no, not in the United States. COVID's gone since Putin did his thing. COVID's went. Nobody talks about COVID hardly at all anymore.
Oh, right. I see.
Yeah, they got something else they got a new shiny trinket to focus their attention on. They forgot about that.
Oh, right. So it's all good over there at the moment then.
Pretty much. It's I hate to say it, but it seems like society, at least over here, has got the TikTok attention span.
Yeah.
The next shiny dancy thing comes along, they forget what's going on here, and they focus over there. And 2 or 3 shiny flashy things later, nobody even remembers what happened before. And it's just crazy.
That's it. It's the Magpie Effect, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, they concentrate on something and then something more shiny over there. Oh, let's have a look at that one.
Yep. For me, it's a squirrel with my ADHD. I get sidetracked quite easily, which just keeps me entertained.
Absolutely, yeah. So, what part of the paranormal do you prefer? Because obviously you do cryptids, spiritual work. Well, Teresa does the more spiritual work, but you go with her and doing the ghost hunting and stuff. You know, what is it that you prefer doing the most?
That's a hard one. Why would you ask me a question like that?
Well, a lot of people tend to focus on one or the other, and I mean, I quite like all of them equally, like the cryptids.
I
The
tend to
ghosts.
get more time with the ghosts than when I do the cryptids.
Right. Okay.
But it's not because I want to spend that time there. It's we get people that will call us and ask us we want to go investigate someplace with them, or somebody's got a house that has something, they got claims that they think they have something going on, and we go along with them because 90% of the time it's me and Teresa, unless when we're doing residence down this way, because the only person we ever investigate on a consistent basis is my brother Jason, that we're and he lives about 2 hours away, so sometimes we can't get to what he's doing and he can't get down to what we're doing. So, but yeah. So it's we seem to be getting more into the paranormal things, but I absolutely love the cryptid part of it because it does get me back out in the woods, out with nature, trying to make sure that I remember the skills that my father and grandfather taught me about hunting and tracking. And just now I just take a camera and everybody walks away healthy.
That's it.
So you're not out in the woods with your trail gauge then?
No, I haven't done that in 20 plus years. It's just me and my Nikon and my Canon.
Oh, right, yeah. So you don't sort of hunt, traditionally hunt, or do you still do hunting, or is it just mainly all?
Yeah, my father passed away about 20 years ago, and that was my big hunting partner. My son at the time was only about 4, and he didn't really want to get into it, so
yeah,
I kind of lost interest in it. And over the years, my stuff's disappeared, except for my firearms, my hunting gear, my vest, and all that stuff. My hats, they've kind of like been worn away, and so but I still love to get out in the woods, and I do it now. I just do it with my camera because I'm always time out there trying to make sure that I can still track things. Like I'll find a trail and make sure I can identify what species it is and stuff, and see how far I can track it to where it goes to bed or feeding grounds and things like that, just to keep myself fresh with the skills and stuff that I was taught.
Mm. Have you ever discovered like a track of some sort and thought, what the hell is that?
Not here around locally. No. It's just they had there for a little while. Everybody thought they had a black panther around here where we live in Southwest Ohio. And I mean, it's the odds of having a panther is crazy. Bobcat, yes. Panther, no. And it ended up being just a large Maine coon that somebody had gotten loose, and it was black, and it was leaving a nice, large feline print. So, most people around here don't see Maine coons, especially out. Most people keep those inside their houses because they're such expensive cats anyway. So, but it was quite funny listening to the rumors and the fears, and of course, and I'm like, well, I'll go track it out. And they're like, no, you won't. I'm like, tell me where it's at. I'll go track it. I'll go look.
I'll do it. And have you ever nearly caught up with a Bigfoot?
No, I have not actually found. I found some tracks that were kind of questionable. they look like large footprints, and of course we cast them, and which is a whole new learning experience there. But did
Yeah,
I catch up to one? I think that no. I actually, like I said, when I got involved in the cryptid community, I had some of them get upset with me because I brought out a theory that what if these large creatures, Bigfoot, whatever, are actually along the float of along the Fey folk or the fairies, whatever you want to call them. And
yeah,
of course, he got mad. Thought I was making fun. I'm like, no. You say they're interdimensional travelers. You can't prove that. You say this and that. You can't prove any of your theories whatsoever. So my theory's crazy, but yours is sane. Okay, we'll go with that. But who's to say that
Oh
there's
yeah.
there that aren't? Because if you look at every culture around the world, go back and there's cave drawings of these creatures. These people had no communication with one another. They had no knowledge that the other one even existed. But yet they
Yeah.
have these drawings of the same creature around the world. So you can't tell me that it didn't exist at one point in time. You can believe that all the dinosaurs they drew on the wall was true. You can believe that all these other things are true, but you can't believe this one's true. Why is that such a hard concept?
Yeah, it's like a folk memory, perhaps.
So,
Yeah.
so my thing was like, what if they're here and we just don't see them because they don't want to be seen? Kind of like Harry and the Henderson. They're like, oh my God, here he goes. He's bringing up Harry and the Henderson. Well, look at the end of the show. At the very end of the show, they let Harry go back into the woods. For those who's never seen it, it's a Bigfoot show. It's a great movie. Go find it, watch it. It's amazing. But then a female and a young one stands up, and they're standing right there looking. They don't see him because they were that well camouflaged. I'm like, what is a ghillie suit? A ghillie suit is us making ourselves look like nature. So
Yeah.
well, you have a properly made ghillie suit. Somebody could be within just a couple feet of you, and if you don't move or make a noise, they'll never see you. You blend in that well. So you're telling me that we can recreate nature, but nature can't create itself? Give me a break. That's arrogant.
Yeah.
That's just us as human beings being arrogant, think that we're more dominant on everything else on this planet. We're actually the weakest thing on this planet.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
If it wasn't for our tools, we wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you think about it in that sort of way, yeah, it does sound quite logical.
If you take every bit of our tools away, our houses, our buildings, our electricity, all these things that we have the ability to make the other creatures happen, we put us on the same plane to playing grounds as them. Without all of our tools, how long are we going to last? So you're telling me that nature can't do what it's doing, but yet we can recreate what it wants to do? Yeah, right. Come on. That's just sheer human arrogance to me.
Totally. Definitely is. Although I do think though that if we was to be stripped of all that, there would be some people that would survive and would be okay. But I think some of the millennials take away their phones and their whole world collapses.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I think they would survive, but they would just have to survive once again on primitive tools, because primitives they developed spears. Even if they just had without any kind of flint or anything else, but they just still even have with just sticks. So we developed intelligence to make tools. That's what we set ourselves. We have that intelligence to forego and for better ourselves.
Yeah.
But if you strip us down to where we had to survive on just our physical forms, we're so deep crap. We're so bad.
Absolutely.
Especially nowadays, like you said, we've all gotten, even myself, I've gotten quite soft. I've been civilized for way too long.
Terrible.
Well, now they tell me it's like, hey, we're going to go on a Bigfoot excursion. I'm like, okay. Where are we going to book our hotels at? I was like, no, we're going to camp. I'm like, no.
Oh, right. You really,
No, I'm
you
not
really are.
No. I'm not sleeping on the ground no more. Nope.
No, I used to do all that. I'm not doing it
Yeah,
again.
true. I think, I used to do that. Or some of the places I've slept, But you can't beat a bed, can you?
Well, and they're like, well, we'll get you an air mattress. Like, I've got bad luck. Every time I've had an air mattress, this went flat. No, thank you. I will find a hotel. I'll drive however far I got to drive.
The problem with air mattresses is they're either too soft, you don't get comfortable, or they're too hard and you don't get comfortable.
Or they go completely flat. You can't get
that's right.
My luck is they all go flat every single time. I think my son pokes holes in them, and I don't know about it just to mess with me.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be it.
I wouldn't blame him. I've done a lot of things to him too. We tend to pester each other quite a bit.
Oh dear. Cool.
So, what have you got coming up in the the immediate future? You say you got this convention you're off to. Is there anything else? Is there sort of stuff you haven't done before yet, or?
Well, we got me and Jason formed a production company, LEP Productions. We actually are all LLC now, so we're all recognized by the state and the feds, and we're starting our filming projects this summer. We got several shorts. We actually have a feature film that we're working on in pre-production right now. So yeah, I took on filming projects in a production company on top of everything else that I already do.
So that sounds interesting. So you say you're sort of like working on a documentaries and shorts. I mean, where will they get aired per se?
Well, we're working on that. We know that we will put them on our YouTube channel more than likely. Start out because we discussed about Patreon and things like that, and I don't know. I'm just not ready for that to say, hey, look at me, you need to pay me. I'm not. We're not at that kind of level to where we want to compete at something like that. We will be filming more of our paranormal mysteries. It's going to be done a different way. Stepping out on it a little bit because it was a little bit too tame for me.
I see.
We're no Zach Baggins by no man, and nothing against him. He's an aggressive style investigator. That's his style. That's what he wants to do. You do you. I don't begrudge anybody how they want to do things. It's just, but I'm also wanting to challenge more. And this can be simple for you guys. Human pendulums. You can't do that over here. That's a no-no.
Oh right, I see. Yeah.
Ouija boards. Oh my God, it's the devil. No, it isn't. So there's so many things like that I want to pursue more on this side, and that's why I said the last time we was investigating, I kept posting little pictures like, well, rule number 1, never investigate alone. I was completely alone in the house by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rule number 2, you can't do this. I'm like, and I was doing it. They have so many rules that just don't make sense to me. Absolutely do not make any sense at all, and it's not. They're not truly rules. They're personal preferences. There is no wrong way to investigate. Truly, there isn't. There's ways that you don't like or you don't agree with. But that doesn't make it wrong.
No,
Yeah.
true.
And any piece of evidence that you put out there is going to be scrutinized, but people don't want to take the time to understand why you're saying that, why this is happening. They say, well, that's not that. It's because of this. Well, okay. But you weren't there. You don't know the whole scenario. You just get this one little snippet of what's going on. So it's challenging those things to try to push things to another level. I think the field is, and I've said this before and it gets me in trouble every time, I think in a lot of ways the field is very stagnant. We're still doing the same things we've done before. Like equipment. We're putting a different color on it, giving them a different sounding beeper and some different flashy lights, and we're giving it a new name and charging $100 more for it, and it's still just doing the same thing that the other things before it were doing.
Yeah,
we're not actually pushing for things. And
I can understand that.
So, like I said, there's so many things like that we want to do that is extremely frowned upon over here. Yeah. Human pendulum, they're just going to come unglued on that one. and that's okay. I understand.
You'll have to keep us in the loop and let us know and how it goes.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I any information I can get, that people's like, hey, have you ever tried this? I'm like, no, but I will. That's why Jason M got me a shirt that says Paranormal Crash Test Dummy, because even without the paranormal in my life, it's like, I bet you never done this. I'm like, yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I'll do it. They were talking about the other day, it's like, what always, if you always want to do something, just, I wish. It's like, I'm the one person that my brother and him can honestly say that there's only one thing in this world I said I always wish I was going to do someday was skydiving. And now I haven't done it. And now I have no desire to do it. Other than that, because everything else I always said, everybody said, I wonder what would happen. I would always go ahead and do it and find out what would happen. So I've heard enough. I'm not skydiving. I know my luck. The parachute won't open. It'll be a bad ending.
Be a bad day there.
Yeah, and I'm not ready to haunt you guys yet. You guys aren't done with me yet.
I'd say that very much depends, though, if Teresa's taken out a life insurance on you.
Oh,
Whether it ends well.
She's got plenty. Trust me. She plans, if I do something stupid, she plans on living in the Bahamas. It's like when that song came out on one of those TikToks where if I die young doing something stupid, yep, that'll be me.
Oh dear, that's funny.
Gotta have fun, gotta challenge things.
Absolutely, yeah. Best way of doing it, isn't it?
Well, and a lot, and you know, a lot of people don't challenge themselves. They always say, bless her heart, Tina, Teresa's best friend, Tina Duchesne, lives up in Canada, comes down and investigates with us all the time. She'll sit there. She's like, I can't go any further. I'll look at her and say, Tina, do you trust me? She'll go, yeah. And everybody goes, oh, why'd you say that? Because then I'll push her farther than what she always was going to go. If you say you can't take one more step, I'll say, okay, take a half a step. If you take that half a step, I'll say, take another half step. You're 3/4 of the way to where you said you wouldn't go already.
Yeah.
We lie to ourselves so many times. We limit ourselves without even challenging ourselves. And that's where I always get in trouble because they say, well, I can't go any further. I'm like, sure we can. Watch this.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Speaking of Teresa, here comes the boss.
Case of
the
my
boss
beer.
man's. The boss man's in, is she?
Yeah, she's coming in.
Yay.
So,
can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear.
Hello, Teresa.
Here it is.
She can't operate the headset. That's why we don't give her equipment.
I am my own equipment.
There we go. Basically, shut up, Jay.
That's right.
That's it. If you first don't succeed, buy your own.
Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Not too
hello,
bad.
Teresa.
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm fine.
Have you had a good day at work?
Oh, yes.
Every day's a good day at work.
Yeah, just glad to get home.
Well, I work from home now, so it's okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, she's got a rough commute. She's just got to walk across the hallway.
Okay.
With 3 cats and a dog.
Yeah. No, I'm used to that as well. I work from home too.
Yeah.
They won't let me.
The commute to get in the morning is horrendous.
What? From the bedroom to the kitchen to the
Yeah,
living room.
yeah. When it's cold out of the bed, you want to stay wrapped in, and it's like, I'll start work later. You know how it goes.
You guys are so spoiled. They won't let me work from home.
You know, you can work with from home.
I can do it by like drone technology. Put some cameras on my forklift.
Honey, you can't do a video game. You can't do a drone.
You know, I hate it when she's right.
Don't say that.
We'll be married 34 years. You think I've ever got to commit that I'm right?
Never.
So, you mentioned a bit about tech. I mean, what are your views on tech, the both of you? I mean, do you sort of like using bits and pieces of it? And is there a bit of tech that you feel that is sort of quite good?
I think we do use tech. I use tech. I tend to use my millimeter more than anything because it has a graduated thing on it where you can actually see a scale of how much things are fluctuating, just not lights going off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that our tech, that's one of the things I was going to say about tech earlier, is that it doesn't give you information to where you can actually record data and fluctuations and changes. It's either a light color changes, which you don't know whether that's a 0.2 fluctuation or a 2-point fluctuation. You have no idea. So I tend to like the millimeter because you can use it for temperature and ambient EMFs and things like that. But you can also read it. And you can also gauge it and keep records of it. I think it should self-record. That'd be great if you could put a chip, SD card in there and record the information for you and all that things, so you could have it to download and look at better on a graph scale without having to graph it out by hand because I'm lazy.
If I could use tech, it's got to have whistles, bells, and lights.
Oh yeah.
Or I'm just completely lost.
But we tend to use both. I mean, Teresa,
Yeah.
with her abilities being psychic medium, and Tina, bless her heart, being a psychic medium, like me, Jason and I will take the tech in, and if we get a baseline reading of the room, what the temperature is, the baseline of the EMF, blah 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 blah. And if they start feeling things, we actually go over see if we can get fluctuations on the equipment to validate what they're experiencing. We use them together. They go hand in hand with us. It's
They do. You guys use the equipment and the tech to validate us.
or you guys sometimes you guys can validate what we come in. We say, well, we're getting these spikes. What we're getting, you guys come over and say what you're feeling. So
Well, you guys have said that can you come in this room? We'll be like, yeah. You guys won't tell us anything, and then we'll say, well, there's somebody over there standing over against the wall or whatever, and you guys just kind of look at each other.
And then see if we have anything
Because that's
going on.
That's what they were getting.
So we
I like the SLS too.
we leave our texts have all the information what's going on with them, and we do not give that information to the psychic medium sensitives at all till
Right.
after.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
Completely blind with what they feel, what they sense, what they think.
Mm.
But I've also noticed that we've been experiencing a lot more with your natural five senses, especially smells and sounds here lately.
So smells have been coming in
Big
strong
time.
lately. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they do. I did actually remember. I was reading something. Not it was the other day, and they say that of all the paranormal sort of things that go on, they reckon smells the top one.
I would have said negative on that before, but like when we was over in Kokomo, for no reason, nobody's living in this house at all, but for no reason, we all suddenly got this strong smell of rose water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody smelled it. And it wasn't there the entire evening. All of a sudden, you got a big, heavy smell of rose water, and it's cold outside, so the building's closed up. We're not like we're allowed outside breezes or anything like that. But not just one or two people,
Like
everybody smelled it.
Mm.
Yeah, I must admit,
Like
it is
walk by.
Yeah.
So
it is quite a common thing over here as well. I mean, I get a lot of requests for private investigations to go to people's houses, and obviously I try and filter through some of those. And one thing that is pretty constant is just feelings of being watched. They get the smells, and sometimes they get things like knocked off the shelves and things like that. They're like the top three main contenders that I get.
And like I said, with the millimeter, we use it. We actually use it more to disprove paranormal than we do to prove it. Because it's always been backwards to me. People will say, "What? Oh, look, we're getting a large spike. We're going to have some activity." Well, we all know it's been scientifically proven that with high EMF fields, it creates nausea, delusions, heartbeat changes, all kinds of things. We know the effects of high EMF. So I've never understood that when somebody's like, "Oh, look, it's spiking. We're going to have paranormal activity." No, you're going to have an EMF overdose, and it's going to cause these things. We know that's going to cause these things.
Yeah.
So we've always done that, and then we get a lot of other people mad at us, like, "Well, you're disproving." I'm like, "But that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to find out the normal first."
Yeah. But that's interesting within itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. They've always done it backwards. If I go down your basement or around your power box through your house, and I have high EMF spikes, we call that a fear cage, and we know that fear cage is going to cause it. But over here on this other side of the room, that's not normal to have a high spike, so that's paranormal. What? That doesn't compute with me. You're talking on both sides of your face, and it's not making sense. You're contradicting yourself constantly.
Yeah.
So we started approaching it that way, and trust me, it gets me a lot of hate mail.
Oh, you still get it, do you?
Oh yeah, I get it all the time. I try to be as nice about it as I can. I'm like, look, I'm not disrespecting what you're doing. I just disagree with it. Yeah. You're perfectly fine to do it however you want to and explain how you want to. I'm not tearing your evidence apart. I'm tearing mine apart. You're mad at me for discrediting myself, huh?
Yeah, it don't figure, does it?
No. But I can see where they would assume that, well, if he's going to say that, do people believe him, that they're going to disbelieve us? I get their idea, but I also tell people all the time, this is just my opinion. This is my thought process. this. By no means am I the right answer. 4.3 million other people doing this agree that way. I look at it this way. So who's the odd man out? Okay, you can be mad at me.
No, it's always good. Always good to think outside the box. Definitely.
Absolutely.
So, Teresa, we were talking to Jay earlier, and he said that you're still on your metaphysical sort of like journey and stuff, and your sort of psychic and clairvoyance or whatever. I mean, and how's that going lately? Are you sort of moving on? Sort of, is it still as strong as what it was?
It is. I was really worried that through all the COVID lockdown and not being able to go to investigations and things, that, for lack of a better term, that I would kind of like lose my edge on it.
Yeah.
Some steps backwards. And I was really nervous when we went to the investigation in Kokomo, because I was like, what if it's not there? I haven't used it for so long, and now it's like, oh well, forget you. You didn't use it, so now we're leaving. I was really nervous about it. So I didn't, like Jay says, I didn't go on the walkthrough. And I was outside really sweating it out. And I was really surprised how well I did. And it gave me that kind of like that boost that was like, yeah, you still got it, okay? Because I had hit some things on the head, didn't know where we were. I mean, I knew we were in Kokomo, but I didn't know anything about the location, the house, even the town, really. And when we walked in, it was like, okay, we've had a lot of death in this house, and it was like layered. There's only a couple locations that I've been to that have been like layered with activity. It's like different time frames.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you got different layers of things that are happening in this home. But the one that stuck out to me the most was there was a gentleman that had committed, I guess you could say committed heat overdose.
Yeah.
And I took him to the room that it happened in. And then later on, I kept telling him, I said, there's something else here. I just don't know what it is yet. Give me a little bit. So a little bit later on, it like this huge light came on. And I was like, oh my gosh. This gentleman had done some really bad things to a female. And when she passed, she came back and haunted him. And I got her name, and she would like tap on the closet and scratch at the closet, and was like in his ear telling him what to do. And she drove him nuts, which he deserved, in my opinion.
Mm.
But I've never been around anything that, I guess you could say, that dark. And I don't mean dark as in demonic or anything like that, just that horribly negative.
Mm.
But I pieced it all together without getting poked and prodded, and didn't have to really guess a whole lot. I just waited for it to come to me. So I was really happy with that.
Mm. And that was your first investigation back after lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And you didn't practice at all during lockdown?
No, not really. We did. Tina and I we were doing our show where we would do readings, over on the show.
Mm.
If we were attracted to somebody, we would go ahead and do the reading. If they asked a question and if it popped up to us like, oh, I know the answer to this, we would do that. But then we quit doing those after a while.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do much.
Yeah, I can imagine it was being very unnerving when you went back.
I was nervous, but I had Jay and Jason with me, and then the other group, Abnormal Paranormal, that we were with.
So the fact that you got Jay with you, was that like help or hindrance?
Yeah. Actually, it could be both.
Oh dear.
Gives me more than then I like to be
I
pushed.
push everybody
You
around.
do, you do. We were at one particular location in Toledo, and again, I didn't go through the walkthrough of the building. We were all.
Yep.
And I kept getting something that came through, and he was recording and filming, and he was like, "Well, what are you getting? What are you getting?" And I said, "Just wait a minute." I said, "It doesn't make sense."
No, just a moment right there. That's one thing I have to say that what the majority of psychic mediums that we've investigated with, whether it be Teresa, Tina, or anything else, they have a tendency to want to hold back and interpret what they're getting. And to me, they're doing themselves a discredit because that's what Teresa was doing at this point in time. It wasn't making sense to her, so she was trying to make it make sense. And I kept telling her, it's not your job to make sense of it. It's your job to relay what you're experiencing, what you feel, what you see, what you hear, everything else.
And after that investigation, that taught me a lesson.
But I do that with whether they're a psychic medium or whether they're just myself or Jason or whoever. If they feel something, I'll immediately focus in on them. I'm like, what are you feeling? What's going on? Why feel weird? How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? Why do you think you feel that way? Because those questions can actually give them more understanding of what's going on. And when we edit the film later or review it to go present things, we can show a history of how these things are going on. And we only go with one or two people into any location that go and talk with the client or the homeowner or the business owner or whatever. And the rest of them go in, whether they're psychic medium or not, they go in completely blind.
Yeah.
Because I have a big thing that me and my great friend Callie Sherrill talk about all the time. Are we experiencing a manifestation, or are we manifesting our experience because of what we know in our minds?
Yeah.
No, and it's like, and I knew nothing. So we're in there, and I kept looking, and I was like, "This isn't making sense." And he's pushing me. Well, what do you see? I was like, "Wait a minute, because it's not making sense."
It doesn't have to make sense to you.
And he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So I was like, "All right, fine."
Almost to the divorce court.
Yeah, almost. I said, "I'm seeing all these soldiers like invading, coming up the road here, and it made no sense to me because I know that in Toledo, Ohio, there was never an invasion like that, and it made absolutely no sense. That's why I kept saying, I don't understand this. I don't understand it." Well, he took me to the next room over where there was a picture taken out of the window that I was standing at.
A large picture. It almost covered a wall.
Yeah. And it was exactly what I was seeing with all these soldiers lined up coming up over the hill and up through the road. And I was like, that's it. That's it.
There were six across and going out of sight where they was going to World War One, I think it was.
Well, it was a parade.
Before going to World War One.
I would, when I think of a parade, I think of, balloons and floats and bands. And that. Well, this was just a parade of soldiers.
Military parade.
Yeah. So it made no sense to me that I was seeing this because I knew good and well, I know my history well enough to know that Ohio was never invaded like that.
Yeah.
So it made no sense to me. And then he proved to me why I need to go with my gut and just say it.
But like I said, it doesn't matter if you're the person that took in the walkthrough and you're the one filming. To me, the way we do it, me and Jason both do it. It's our job to chronicle what you guys were experiencing, whether it be the psychic medium sensitive, the person with the tech, or whatever, because we already know what's going on. We know the history, we know the lores, we know everything about the place because we went to walkthrough and all that. So we put ourselves away from what's going on and take ourselves out of the equation and leave it about them. So that way they can get their verification of what's going on. And we know the history. We've already recorded the person that did the walkthrough and stuff. We recorded them to have it all chronicle that what's going on, the claims, all that thing. So that way we can have that comparison at all times. And that way that, like I said, we strongly believe in the fact that, and we've seen it before. When we lived in Post Town, we'd tell people that at 10 o'clock, there's going to be a black shadow come across the top of the ceiling and run down the wall. And sure as world, within 4 or 5 investigations, somebody said they caught it and they put it out on YouTube on their channel, and 10 other people went and saw it. Now everybody's seeing the same thing, and it never really truly happened because they were so intent on having this experience that everybody else are claiming to have that they all had it happen. They manifested their experience, which is still cool. Don't get me wrong, but if you're wanting to capture evidence to prove to somebody or disprove somebody the possibility of a haunting in their location, you're not actually giving that evidence. You're giving them your experience.
Right.
Because to me, it doesn't matter whether you manifested it or it manifested. That's still a cool ass experience because that's to think that your mind has the ability to create, to project that for you to experience that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
we-
in its own right.
Slender Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had conversations before, even with Kerry, about manifesting your own spirits and experiences and stuff. And I very much liken it to the idea of the tulpas.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you put enough faith and belief into a symbol, you can create essentially their energy.
Yep.
So then it starts to self-perpetuate
Yeah.
and grows, and then becomes that particular spirit. And I think, you know, that's why a lot of people say there's power in words
No, and
Right.
as well.
I always go back to that there's power in words because why they call it spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You spell a word, don't you?
Spell a word.
I like
It's-
that. Mm.
Well, that's something you can put a word out there, and once it's spoken, it can't be taken back.
Nope.
You can
Yeah.
you can apologize for it. You say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. I didn't really mean it that way," but that's still going to be in the back of that person's mind because you said it.
Yeah.
So, but that's
Absolutely.
it's just like I said, it's just the way me and Jason do it with our production company that we if me and him go get the information, then me and him take ourselves out of the investigation.
Yeah.
That way we're not projecting things into it, and we do nothing but just capture it, record it,
Mm-hmm.
get it on. That way we can look at it and know what we know compared to what they're experiencing and see how it matches up. We don't guide them either. We're like, well, does it feel like it's a little girl? No, we don't know.
Yeah.
What do you
They
feel?
won't say anything.
What do you feel? Why do you think you feel that way?
They wouldn't say doo doo if they had a mouthful
No.
of it.
No, because then we're guiding you to get the
Yeah.
answers that we want you to say, and that's not what we're there for. And just like when Teresa started doing readings and stuff, Tina got on her about why don't you do readings? You could do such a great job doing readings. I know you can. Teresa's like, well, what if I'm wrong? Tina's like, well, what if you are wrong? Ain't nobody 100% right all the time. Nobody.
Well,
I'll say, and equally, what if you're right?
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she told me, she goes, just because you're wrong, how did she word that? Just because you're wrong right now doesn't mean that you're going to be wrong later. And I said, what do you ask her? I said, how do you mean that? I don't understand. She said that she had a client that she did a reading for, and they were like, no, you were wrong on that, dead wrong. She's like, okay, all right.
Whatever.
They came back like a few months later and wanted another reading. And they told her that what she had told them actually came to fruition. So she
Yeah.
was right, just not at that particular time.
And then one time somebody went back and had asked their grandmother some questions and stuff and found out
Yeah.
that it was somebody in the past that she had gotten it right about their history, their
Right.
family history, lineage. So
I hear that all the time because I've got a lot of friends that are mediums, and they've said like when they go to places they give out readings, and there's people there sometimes that go, nope, I don't know nothing about that. I can't take that, and they'll just turn around and say, well, I'm going to leave it with you because what I'm getting is correct. You know, they're not backing down from that. It could be that I'm interpreting it wrong, but that's what they're giving me. And then, like as you said, a few weeks down the line, they'll come back and go, "Oh yeah, what you said the other night refers to my aunt Jo," and like I just couldn't
Yeah.
think at the time. So yeah, absolutely, because spirit are not wrong. It's the bit in the middle that's
Right.
Well, it's-
Sometimes,
which is down to interpretation, isn't it? I mean,
right.
which is
Yeah.
where I try to get them to not interpret it. Just tell me what you see, what
and-
you hear, what you smell, what you taste, whatever.
What's really cool when
Yeah.
Tina investigate together is we're both mediums, but we see things differently when we investigate.
yeah,
She sees things through the spirit's eyes,
Hmm.
and I get visions. I see like scenes.
Right, okay,
Investigate together, we get a really good picture of what's going on.
yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah,
And we use it to our advantage as much as possible.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, but like I said, it's all part of it. It's just like there's a conversation, two people in the room. Tina gets to see it from that person, and Teresa sees it from the other person's eyes, looking back at them. So
Yeah.
you've got them completely covered,
Mhm.
and
Mm.
it's kind of amazing, and it's kind of freaky at times too. And I'm like, you guys are just weird.
I can imagine. Yeah.
That's my way of bailing out. Y'all are just getting weird. I gotta go.
Well, I think on that note, we'll just have a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll carry on discussing this because it's really interesting.
Fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's really weird saying this bit because Kerry normally does this. So we'll be right back after this.
Hello, Harry Price here. If there's nothing me and my friends enjoy more here on the other side, it is to sit back and relax and listen to the Paranormal Concept Show, right here on the PA UK radio network. Broadcasting a plethora of interesting and informative content for all your paranormal needs. Find them across social media to keep up to date with forthcoming shows and all their other adventures. Hello, is there anybody there?
And welcome back to the Paranormal Concept Show, here exclusive to the PA UK radio network. And before the break, we were chatting with Jay and Teresa Lynch, so we're going to continue this chat. And we was actually on some quite interesting stuff, weren't we, Paul?
We was, yeah. So we were talking about mediumship and how that it's used in their investigations. So, yeah, how do you when you go into a location, Teresa? Do you like have a walk around first, and then bring your findings back to Jay and the other investigators?
No, but what they usually do, they'll say, "Okay, where do you want to go first?"
Yeah.
And it's like wherever I'm drawn to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, and I've done this before. Well, is there a room upstairs to the right? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go there first. That's where I'm being drawn to.
Okay.
Oh, right, I see.
So you've
So-
never actually gone in there and gone, actually, the cafe next door would be quite nice right about now.
Right. Right.
I wish you would sometimes.
Yeah. Have some banoffee pie before you start.
I don't even know what it is, but you said pie, you get my attention.
But yeah, when you go into investigations, do you have dinners and meals before you go in?
Sometimes.
Okay. Do you take into account sometimes the sugars and everything that might have been in your food having some sort of effect on your body for the investigation?
No, but what I will do is because when I do, if Jay eats too much sugar or gets too much caffeine, he says
It's hypo.
like a chihuahua on speed. It affects him, so we don't do that.
Well, I'm ADHD anyway.
But like, if I've done a lot of readings and mediumship readings that day, or lots coming through, if I've channeled during the investigation or something, we usually take like pepperoni or salami and cheese,
Meats and cheeses.
meats and cheeses, stuff like that to
Yeah.
snack. That's what we usually take.
So about the only rule me and Jason has is that no Mexican before investigations.
Yeah,
Love my
yeah,
Mexican
I can
food.
imagine. It
I
must be like
love,
gram zero if you do that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
love good Mexican food, but it's not a good thing to have for an investigation.
I find
Yeah.
that Mexican food is all the same. It's just folded differently, isn't it? Yeah. Burritos folded. No, I wanted, tacos, so they fold it another way,
See, I say the same thing about Italian food over here because most people don't adventure more into Italian food than the marinara
Spaghetti, lasagna.
and the noodles and so you changed the shape of the noodles and gave it a different name. You still got pasta, you still got the same marinara sauce and the same mozzarella cheese.
Yeah,
And
that's
you just
right.
you use a round noodle or you use a flat noodle and call it lasagna. It's the same stuff in it. So they don't. That's not what gets me over here is that they don't. I know for a fact that the Italian cuisine has so much more to it, but you just can't get it over here unless you make it yourself because same as Mexican, they want to do the same thing over and over again. There's so much more out there. So
Yeah.
much.
Mexican is not nearly as spicy as what they make it here of a Tex-Mex.
Yeah, see, I'm not big up on Mexican food.
Oh, I could eat. I love it. I love the seasoning to it, but
We don't like him afterwards.
yeah.
We end up with EV poos instead of EVPs.
Yes, I can imagine.
I like that. That's funny.
She's picking on me again. You guys are laughing about it. Don't encourage her.
So after you've sort of like done an investigation of a location and stuff, do you write it up, or do you sort of just sort of put it in the back of your minds and sort of just go from there? I mean, will you sort of present your findings?
It all depends on the situation. Like we have 3 still for our paranormal mysteries that we have to get edited and things. We got a new editor and things like that, so it's been a little bit getting them together. But we also have some places that we've had to sign non-disclosure agreements because they didn't want it out there. So we actually.
But we did give our findings to that person.
Yeah, we told them if they let us come in and stuff, when whatever we captured, we would give it to them, and we've turned the SD cards over and stuff to them. Then there's some that are private residents that don't want to be talked about. So it all depends on the situation. If they're willing to share publicly, great. If they don't want to, then we don't. We don't even mention it.
Do you not keep a copy of those when you hand them over?
No, because that way we take no chance on something getting out. We give them the access to it and stuff. And if anything gets put out, it's because they have every copy of it. We still know what we experienced. We know that we done.
Right.
But that's part of getting that non-disclosure agreement with them. We tell them flat out they'll have every bit of it. We'll keep nothing unless they ask us or allow us to, and then we will. But other than that, we don't keep a thing. Yeah. We don't want to take that chance, especially with forming your own production company and things and going to LLC and all that stuff. Because if we break that agreement, it could be quite detrimental for our company and things. So.
Yeah, as I sort of like touched upon earlier, I mean, you sort of put your stuff onto YouTube, but is there plans are you sort of like in contact with television production companies or sort of
no,
like
really.
So you're not in contact with like Travel Channel or Discovery or anything like that?
At this point in time, Jason and I, neither one are interested in submitting anything like that. Because of the style that we want to investigate and do, that they have so many different rules and regulations that you can and cannot do. And if we're going to do all the work, we're going to put all the production into it. That's because we do our own production, everything, and our own editing and stuff. So that way we tell our story. We've seen so many of our friends go on to like My Ghost Stories and things like that, and every one of them says, "Well, that's not what really happened. They jumped it around."
That's out of context.
Well, we don't ever want to say that. What we put out there is our experience. We edited it, we investigated it, we put it together, we reviewed it. So if there's anything that's not there, it's on us. And we've done it. We told our story our way. Not trying to just be arrogant, but I don't also want to go back and have to rely on somebody else to tell my story because it never gets told the second time or third time or fourth time right. And you get somebody edited that doesn't even know anything about investigating. All they know is video. They're going to miss things that we want to put in. So we do not pursue that at this point in time. We'd rather put our stuff out since we're, like I said, we're paying for everything ourselves. If we're going to do everything ourselves, we're going to do it our way.
Well,
Hold ourselves accountable for what we have and what we don't have.
Yeah. Makes total sense, that.
So we'll put it on our YouTube channel where people can still view it and they can still like it or bash it. And you can't bash it because to me, I never thought I'd be doing this stuff anyway. So I am way outside that realm of what I ever in my life would dream I would be doing. So I can't fail. I've already succeeded immensely.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me 20 years ago I'd be investigating and have my own production company and all this other crap, I'd have laughed at you. And I'm doing these things that I thought I would never ever do because like I said earlier, there's no such thing as I can't. The only way I can't do something is if I don't try it. I may not do it right, but I still tried it. I still did it. I'm still doing it.
Well, his I can't is I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Good attitude to have,
isn't it?
Yeah.
If you fail, you only fail forward. You got to learn it. You either, like we said earlier, you learn something, either something good or something bad, but it's always learning experience.
Yeah.
Period.
So if someone wants to look and watch some of your work, where can they find that? On YouTube?
On YouTube, be underneath LEP Productions.
Okay, cool.
On our podcast, you're on there also. We do, me and Jason and Joe, our other brother, do right now we're doing Stirring the Pot. That's every Tuesday night. That is an adult comedy because we talk about anything and everything.
Please do not let young children listen.
And it can get a little bit on the rough side.
Okay, so over 18s only. Just want to put that out.
We don't hold back. So there are some words that gets dropped every once in a while, and but we just have fun with it. And we also do eating challenges on it. Joe just not too long ago had to eat canned escargot.
Ew.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
Yeah, I've always often wondered who the first person to look at a snail was and go, I bet
Ooh.
that tastes nice.
I like
Or
snails.
chicken egg.
But Richard, I bet snails could be good, and I've heard a lot of people say
Yeah,
that.
that cooks.
But
Yeah,
these things canned.
yeah. I mean, you need to heat them up. I mean, I should imagine.
They were canned.
Yeah, no, and I often have them in France. Yeah, it's a nice starter to a meal with escargot.
Luckily, I won the toss that week, and I didn't have to eat them, so I don't care. I'm not. I had to do spam fried rice. You guys get spam over there? That
yeah.
Yeah, spam. Yeah.
I had to make fried rice with spam. Teresa liked it. I thought
It actually was pretty good.
it would have been real good if it didn't have that nasty meat byproduct in it.
Damn, so I liked it.
So I mean, and so we have our paranormal mysteries over there. We just started back with our podcast, Getting to Know. We do all kinds of people in there. We're having Michelle LeBaron. She's a great investigator here in the United States. Has a guest this Sunday, and then but we also do authors and movie people and musicians, whoever. We just sit down and talk with them. And then Teresa doesn't, and Tina haven't got back up to doing their show yet, where they do their metaphysical, doing readings and talk metaphysical and all that woo-woo stuff that I don't
Woo-woo
understand.
stuff.
The woo woo stuff. Yeah,
The
you've got to have the woo woo stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, every once in a while, I get my cards out and I'll do readings. I call them redneck readings. And I got a deck of old maid cards and match set cards from kids, and those are my tarot cards that I use to do your reading.
Yeah.
And you know the weirdest darn thing is that the first night that that he did them, he was so right on, and everybody in the chat was like, "Are you serious?" He did the one where the lady was.
I told her that she had a goal that she was striving for. That when she reached that goal, that she was going to take herself on a trip to do
And
something
swim
she's
with
always dreamed
dolphins.
of, and it had to do something with the water and things like that. And she says, actually, I'm just a few pounds away from losing my first goal of 100 pounds. And when I do, I'm going to Florida and swim with manatees. I'm like, yeah, I quit.
It blew everybody's mind.
I just got that from old maid cards. I'm out of here. So I haven't done them maybe once since then because it I think it got in my own head. I thought I was just having fun being a smart aleck, and it backfired.
Do you have many people approach you to sort of like investigate, sort of away from the sort of like the big sort of investigations you do when you go sort of like to raise money for charities and stuff? Do you have many people sort of get in contact with you privately?
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazing to me because they'll hit us up like, hey, wonder if you guys want to join us on an investigation. And I'm like, yeah. Like, well, how much would it cost to get you to come? I'm like, no, we'll pay our way. I don't tell me where we're going, and yeah, we'll be more than happy to go with you guys. And we always we jump at it. That's how we end up in Kokomo, Indiana, at that Davies house with Abnormal Paranormal Squad. Some of our great friends, love them to death. They're like, hey, we got a place. You guys want to go? I'm like, absolutely. I'll take the day off work if I have to. Let's go. So yeah, that's why we stay so busy, because people are inviting us all the time. We're going in 2 weeks. We're going to Fairfield.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Fairfield Infirmary here in Ohio. It's a old psychiatric hospital infirmary that we've never been to. In fact, my friend Callie Sherrill's one to invite us. She's coming in from Colorado for it and stuff. And so it's.
Oh, right.
I think Jonathan Hodges from Deep South Paranormal is going to be there. So
Right.
Cool.
remember the TV show Deep South Paranormal?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan Hodges is one of the guys from Alabama. He's coming up for it, I think. And so we'll be investigating with them. And we just don't put it out there a lot because we've been blessed to meet so many people with what we've done, going to all these conventions, that Jonathan's just another guy. I mean, granted, he was on a TV show and stuff, but he's just another fellow investigator. And that's how he approaches everybody else. There so
He
many of
puts
those
his
people.
pants on the same way we do.
And
so,
he acts that way too.
yes.
The majority of them do. I think John Zaffis, we got to investigate with him one time at Post Town. One of my all-time favorite investigations.
One of the most approachable people.
Oh, absolutely. But everybody else is getting ready to take a break, and he comes by me, and he's with Jenny Stewart and
Carmen Snyder.
not Carmen Snyder. But anyway, he comes by and they're going. I'm like, he goes, "What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "Nothing." He goes, "Come on," and I end up in the room with Carmen and Jenny and John Zaffis doing a spirit box session I never said a word because John started getting his uncle Ed through. They started having a conversation.
Right.
That's going to interrupt the conversation between Ed Warren and John Zappis at a spirit box session. Jenny even said, she goes, I've never seen Jay this quiet. I'm like, I'm not about to say a word. I'm learning here. I'm good. I'm good. It was just one, but we don't. People are so approachable, so down to earth, and so friendly. And that's another reason I tell people to go to the conventions and stuff. Because if you get a chance to talk with them, and they got time to talk with you, they will. They'll answer your questions. It's amazing the knowledge that is there.
Don't be afraid to ask them.
The only dumb questions are the ones that I ask.
And they're also really quick to correct you on things.
Okay.
Politely. They're not rude about it.
No, not that particular group. But we had somebody that was telling people that they had been in the field for 6 months and had done all these demonic possession cases, and they got brought down a peg or two.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason for you to be saying that because we all know it's a lie.
So when, like, in your busy schedule, when are you going to come over to the UK?
Oh God, I was so lucky to. I got to get my passport first because we talked about that while just before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And of course, everything got shut down. We couldn't do anything anyway. And I'm like, why would I go get it now? I can't go nowhere for God knows how long.
Yeah.
So plus my work, we were essential workers. Grant and I work in a paper factory, but our we use parchment. We produce parchment paper. So our paper, 90% of it goes to food and medical packaging. So everybody was buying prepackaged food. So our business went through the roof. So we went to 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, we're still busy. We're still super busy. It hasn't really slowed down. We've just gotten more efficient at what we're doing and getting takes more time off. But yeah, we got hammered, and it's fine. It's all part of life. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's good.
So
keeps you busy through lockdown, didn't it?
And trust me, when we get to come over there, you three are on my top of my list to get a see.
Absolutely.
I'm not kidding.
We'll take you to a few places around.
Yeah,
I
we
really
know a
don't
few
care if
places.
we make it to a place or not, as long as we get to sit down and actually talk face to face, have a meal together like human beings and discuss things. God, that'd be great right there. That right there makes the trip.
Yeah, that so could be arranged.
Oh yeah, we'll have to book the Toby, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm a firm believer in that old thing. I think a lot of the problems in the world would be solved if people would just sit down and break bread together and talk.
Yeah.
Because people's attitudes when you're sitting around a dinner table eating together changes the whole atmosphere of things.
Yeah.
When you're just able to holler across an empty table or type something into a computer, it takes that whole human side out of it, and you lose a lot of things to it. So I think a lot of our things in the world, no matter whether it be the world, the paranormal, whatever, a lot of these differences would be different if people would actually sit down, break bread together, and discuss some things and open their minds. Things would change instantly.
Open your mind and shut your mouth.
Yeah, that's what my mom always told me.
You didn't listen to her either.
No, I didn't listen to her too well either. I was one of those kids.
Didn't we all? We was all like that, I reckon.
Oh no, Teresa was one of those little goodies. Her dad would just barely talk to her. I'm disappointed. I'm sorry, Daddy. My mom and dad would use a belt on my backside, and I'd pick them up and say, I'm still not allowed to do it. They'd have to whip me again.
I can't imagine him having to whip you that much, Jay.
Mine wasn't the spare the rod kind of family. I didn't give him any choice though, so let's be honest about it. It's not them, it was me. I was the type of kid. My dad was pointing at something and said, "Don't touch her. I'm going to whip you." I would pick it up and hand it to him. So I'm not allowed to touch this, and he would give me a whipping.
See, I was smart.
He would sit me down and say, "I told you to leave it alone." So I'd pick it up again. So I'm still crying. So still not allowed to have it, and get whipping again. I push everything. I always have.
When I was a kid, I'd sort of fight back in a way, and I do remember years ago when I was little, my mum had like this feather duster, and it had a bamboo stick running through the middle of it, and if I was naughty, she'd just clip the back of my legs with it.
Yep.
And it hurt, and she'd done it one day. I can't remember what for, because I was a an angel constantly. But I apparently I burnt it. I put it into the fire, so she couldn't hit me with it again. But where it was all charcoal at the end, I started writing on the walls with it.
Oh dear. Well, yeah.
Obviously, she never hit me again with that.
No. Oh wow! I said I didn't ever do that one. You remember the Hot Wheels tracks, the big old Hot Wheel race cars and stuff? They had the plastic straps.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those were like having willow switches, but made of plastic that never get destroyed. Trust me. I took about one whipping with those, and I cut all of them up into pieces and threw them in the trash. I tore my own toy just so I wouldn't get whipped with it again.
Yeah. That's it. Isn't it?
I was such a good girl. I played with dolls, sat on the floor, had tea parties, and I was good.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
And she marries me.
Well, they say opposites attract.
I was about to say that opposites attract.
This is proof.
I have her friends will ask me all the time, like, how does she even put up with you? I'm like, I keep her drunk. She ever wakes up sober, half my stuff's leaving me. Done. I got no defense.
Yeah, you know.
And then, like I said, then she gets me involved with this whole paranormal, which got lit a fire into me because now I'm involved with the paranormal, the cryptid, the ufology,
Right.
urban legends, mythology, you name it. If they say if it can be tracked or heard or seen, I want to go see it. I'm
Yeah.
always that kid too, though, like you, Paul. Those are the kind of people that it's not that they disbelieve what you're telling them; they just want to experience what they're hearing, and you learn your lessons better by experience, in my opinion, than what you do by being told. Teresa's the opposite. She learns her lessons by listening. That's no fun. There's no challenge to listen.
Well, you know, if you tell me, don't touch that because it's hot and it's going to burn you,
I pick it
I'm
up.
going to go, okay, and
I
I
pick
don't
it up.
touch it. You go, is it really hot? How hot is it? Oh, yeah, that is hot, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you sort of got to do that, ain't you? I mean, people
Yeah.
say don't touch that big red button. It's the first thing you got to do.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
Teresa's not going to touch it.
Hell no.
The three of us apparently are going to be in trouble because we'll probably get into a big ruckus about who's going to get to touch it first.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Heck yeah. We're going to do rock, paper, scissors. Who gets to touch it first?
Yeah, next time you do rock, paper, scissors, the third one's going to be over there touching it.
Yeah, that's true.
She wins. She knows this pretty well.
She does. That's scary.
That's putting up with me for 34, 35 years. And our son, too, he's just like me.
Yeah,
I'm not. Do you take Teresa on your Bigfoot hunting trips?
No. Teresa doesn't do the woods too well. There's bugs out there.
Okay, I was gonna say that might be why the Bigfoot wants to hide.
Yeah.
Afraid you'll get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
I seen her kicking your guys' butt. I'm not coming out. She's not as tough as she acts.
There's bugs and critters out there, and if it creeps and crawls, I'm out of here.
We were investigating
wow.
down at Hillsbar Dam several years ago, and it's an old, OSPH. We was at old South Pittsburgh Hospital, an old hospital down in South Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Tennessee. And Teresa, and we had this amazing experiences going on. We had two giant, it's like chalkboards, but they were dry erase boards. And behind, they were both on hinges. Behind each of them was a mirror the same size as the chalkboard. So they were covering at least half the wall with mirror, and they were dragged across one another. So we were doing a session in between the two mirrors and stuff. And one of the psychic mediums there had grabbed her head and freaked out, started screaming, said she had a headache and got immediately headache, and we went running out. And so Teresa stepped in, and then she started having some weird experiences. And we was there with Rich Valdez. He asked Teresa, he asked me, because I was going to step in there with her because I've always got her back. And he's like, "You mind if I have her back this time?" And I'm like, "Whatever." He goes, and he steps in between the mirrors with Teresa, and they stand back to back. And he asked her if she minded if he invoked the angels. So then she says no. He does a prayer about invoking the archangels to protect them.
At the time.
And she said that like you could feel them land and then slam their staffs on the ground, like filming a ring around them and filming a barrier of protection. So we're all I'm still recording, still watching everything going on. And Rich goes, "Teresa, what do you see now?" And she goes, "Well, I can't see anything right now because that angel stand right in front of me." Real smart aleck. I'm like, of all things to say. You're going to call out an archangel. You know I can't win this fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to protect you. But thanks a lot for calling out an archangel. Like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, you can't fight that one.
I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to collect some life insurance.
We were talking about it before you got here.
Yeah.
I said, you keep enough that you can retire to the Bahamas.
Maybe we also know Teresa just as much as she knows us.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, I was just amazed that she's going to smart off to an angel. I'm like, seriously?
Well,
Yeah.
asking me, I was really out
That
of my
was such a
element
cool
then.
experience, though.
And I was just coming out as being a medium. And shut up. And
I'm more of a
I
double-edged
hadn't
Hodge.
really told a whole lot of people. So Rich was like, Teresa, step in here. You're going to take Brandy's place. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, crap. Okay, I'm put on the spot. You know, I've got to suck it up and do this now. After she just went out of here crying,
Screaming and crying.
Screaming.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can do this. I talked myself up real quick and went in there. And just as I'm starting to feel pretty threatened of the stuff that was coming out of the mirror, because I could see it, Rich asked me if he could invoke the angels for protection. I've never been around that. So I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking, sure, some protection's better than no protection. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Well, I had never in my life felt or been, like I said, been around anything like that, where I literally felt each of them land and plant their sword, land and hit their sword all the way around us. One by one landed. It was an amazing feeling. Well, then they kept saying, well, what are you getting? What are you getting? And it was like we were in a shield. Yeah. And I can't see anything. This guy's in front of me. I'm not letting anything come through now. And they kept pushing it. And I finally, I said, yeah, I can't see anything because this angel's in front of me.
A way more smart mouth than that.
Because I was irritated because you guys kept pushing me.
Yeah.
So you get me in a fight with an angel?
You didn't fight with him.
No, thank God, because I'd have lost.
I think any of us would.
No.
Right?
She's killing me. Or trying to get me killed, one of the two. But it was absolutely amazing experience, and investigating there with them was but I just can't believe she was actually saying like, oh, what's this? Like, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Did the atmosphere change very much when you had the angels around you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me being the skeptic that I am, I was doing at that time. All I had on me was my task cam doing live EVP.
Yeah.
What's the new saying now for it? In the moment. In the moment EVP. That's the new phrase on TV now. In the moment EVPs.
Yeah.
But anyway,
all right.
but I kept getting, and like I said, there was no electronics around me whatsoever. I kept getting static distortion through the task cam, which should never happen with the task cam. Those are made for musicians and stuff, and there's if somebody would have had a phone or something like next to it or stuff, it still shouldn't do it. But I kept getting it mumbling and static every time they would say they were sensing something. So for me to have, I had no other equipment besides that, but to have that kind of interference and distortion, it should not have been happy with my equipment. It was kind of like, but it was. Wasn't
it Kevin Betzer that was in there with us?
Yeah.
He said, this is the weirdest, freakiest stuff I've ever seen.
And it was just kind of weird to get confirmation of what they were saying with filling this energy and things that was actually affecting the equipment that shouldn't be affected by it and had nothing to do with any other kind of electronic equipment around.
And that leads to what we were talking about earlier with going with the tech and the mediumship.
Yep. Sometimes you get your confirmation in weird ways.
Yeah.
That's true.
Got to be open-minded to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm usually not.
Usually open-mouthed.
She's being mean. You know the recording is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're recording it. Go out Tuesday.
We'll go out Tuesday, yeah.
Encouraging her, Paul. Thanks a lot, buddy.
And once we've run it past the censor, we should be all right.
I thought we was friends, man. I thought we wasn't like that.
You know, we're trying to be sort of like, we won't go too far with the jokes because we don't want a Will Smith moment on the show.
No.
The majority of people over here didn't know the Oscars was on until that happened.
Yeah, same here. We woke up on was it Monday morning or whatever, and it was all over Facebook.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, and everyone didn't stop talking about it for 3 days.
like I said earlier, the new TikTok fad. They got a new shiny object to talk about. They forgot about everything else that was going on.
Absolutely,
Yeah, that's right.
Something else to divert the attention to.
Yep, that's what it's like indeed.
It can't stay like that forever. People's going to get tired of all that, I think, and start slowing down with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what have you two got planned for the near future? Are you sort of, I know we touched upon this earlier, but are you sort of more filming and the same as is?
No, nothing stays the same as is. Definitely going to get back into investigating more since things have opened back up. That's without a doubt. And you can bet that I've been doing a lot more research, trying to find ways to push people and their concept of things. Like I said earlier about doing things that you guys get to do over there that we can't do over here because, that's not right. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anything that you guys think of that you could possibly think of that I would get in trouble doing or trying over here as an experiment, let me know. I'll do it.
Okay.
Well, we'll definitely try the Ouija board.
Oh,
the Ouija board will be, well, that's all.
and we still got the one from the old radio network over here. I have never got a chance to send it to Carrie.
Oh, okay.
The old Parasearch.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, the Parasearch Ouija board.
We had a Ouija board with that logo on it and stuff. I have never ever got a chance to send it to Carrie because I was going to send it over to her for you guys.
You have to send it over, yeah. Well, know, and we can put it in the archive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still got that here and then Jason makes those beautiful wooden boards and he can put just about anything on them. Custom wooden Ouija boards that are engraved and stuff.
Gorgeous.
He's got I don't know. We spent the weekend up at his house this weekend for the event there in Toledo, and he's got 60 Ouija boards in that room that we stayed in.
Yeah.
Wow.
I get tickled at the people when we go to a location and he has his for a convention and he has the table set up with his Ouija boards. The people be walking, from table to table, just chit chatting, and they get to where they can look at the table they're getting ready to go to next, and they freeze and walk out and around the table.
Like if you get with 6 foot clearance, it's okay. If we don't get closer than 3 feet from that Ouija board, we'll be okay. But if we get closer than 3 feet, it'll possess us.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think someone didn't someone message Kerry or something that said they got a new Ouija board doormat and they were worried that it was going to evoke spirits.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes, it was a doormat. Yeah, and they were a bit worried about it.
I can imagine the postman standing on it and started moving about.
Yeah, sort of, possessed postman.
Yeah.
But you think about it, what's worse, having the Ouija board doormat, because you're worried about inviting, the unwanted in, or having a doormat that says welcome?
Still gonna get the unwanted.
Yeah, you're still gonna get everyone coming in. So there you go.
He's got a point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the Ouija board doormat would be wonderful, but my mom wouldn't come visit me if it was on both doors because she would not cross it. There's no way. No way.
I was gonna say, what's your mum like? Because it might be a good way of making her not come.
No, my mom's a sweetheart. She's still really bent on those old Southern Baptist ways. And there's no changing it. There's absolutely no discussion about it because I'll try to discuss with her. Like I've been following a gentleman on TikTok and he's also on Instagram. Get to see more videos there. but he's of a Sikh religion and stuff. And I find it fascinating to talk with other people about other religions and other concepts and things. And I'm in her mind, I'm just doubling with the devil. And
Yeah, we've got a guy on next week who's studied the paranormal in the Bible.
Oh yeah, Matt
we-
Arnold.
yeah,
Yeah,
we find it absolutely fascinating.
It's a fascinating. Yeah, what's it? Next week's show gonna be the Easter story we're doing, aren't we?
Yeah.
Is it sort of coming up to that time of year?
kind of like Christina Rake. You ever heard of Archbishop Christina Rake?
No.
She's y'all look her up. She's with
She's amazing.
I can't remember that. It's a branch of the Catholic Church. But she wrote a book called God and the Paranormal Part 1. Is what got. Well, she's starting to write Part 2. But it's about mediums, ghosts, and the afterlife in the Bible. And she has a degree in theology.
Yeah.
So she got a couple other degrees too. But she's got her master's in theology and stuff. And so she comes at it from a way that it's very eye-opening and stuff. It's one of the books that I've started reading, but I've not finished, and she knows it because I'm, like I said, I talk with people more than I do read.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely amazing. You can get it on Amazon. Just look up Reverend Christina Rake, and it's amazing. We just saw her.
I do know the person you mean. I think you and Kerry interviewed her on the old show on the Paramania network.
Absolutely, because she's such a different person to talk to when it comes. And she's
so knowledgeable.
When she's going to be part of the.
She will bring it to where you can. She will make it to where you can understand it.
And she's also going to be a part of the one documentary that Jason's and I are going to be working on. Jason's had this idea for a long time, and we're going to start working on it here soon. She's going to be one of the people that we interview, and it's going to be along that lines. So it's just a matter of trying to see if we can get how many different religions we can get sit down and discuss with us about different aspects of things.
Yeah. I do like that subject myself. Yeah, I wasn't too particularly taken with the religious education at school, and we just use it as a homework lesson in the end. But after leaving it and becoming a godfather, we had to do a godfather course, and then I thought, actually, that's quite interesting. So I done what they call an alpha course, which is like just grasping the basics, and then I took a Christian basics course. And learning a lot more about the church and Church of England and Christianity and stuff. And I found it really interesting. The amount of questions I asked the vicar, and like the vicar had answers for everything. You just could not trip that bloke up.
That's awesome when they'll discuss things. That's what I like about Christina. She'll openly discuss things.
Yeah.
And because when I was younger and stuff, it was their way or no way. And if you question anything, you were wrong and you just don't understand. I'm like, I can't do that. I know how frail that human mind is and how the human ego is. And so many people, when they get in that positions like that, they have to, I'm chosen by the Almighty to interpret this for you. And I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And like I told my mom, it wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't so many thousands of different Christian beliefs arguing against one another, that this Christian believes better than that one, and this one's wrong and that one's wrong and this one's right and I'm right and you're wrong. And I'm like, come on, man. Aren't we all reading the same book here?
Yeah, I think it's just down to interpretation, isn't it?
Yep. So I did my best Joe Biden interpretation. Come on, man. Oh. I'll get in trouble for that one.
Not by anybody here.
I don't care. I ain't against anybody. They don't know that by now. Anybody that knows me know that I ain't against anybody. I want everybody to do well. Period. I don't care who it is.
That's it. We're all on the same religious journey. Who cares who's driving the bus?
Well, that's what I enjoy. That's what I told my mom.
I'll be there at the end. It's okay.
That's what I told my mom. What I really enjoyed about the Sikh religion is that that's what they truly believe. In fact, one of their gurus one of his helpers was a Muslim. That they don't care what path you take to get to the Almighty. Take your path.
Yeah.
As long as you walk that path.
Yeah, as long as you're walking a path to go to the righteous place, to go to God, then take your path. I'm like, isn't that should be all of us? I don't care how you get to where you want to go, as long as you're doing it the right way and not hurting anybody else. Go.
No, that's right. Absolutely.
So I don't know how we went from paranormal to religion. Shut up, Jay.
Well, ties into one another, all into it, doesn't it?
It does because, like you said earlier, it influences your interpretation of your experience, what you're happening.
Yeah. And I know obviously we've been talking about Christianity and stuff, but sometimes people can have a faith without being part of one of those bigger religions.
Yes.
And I think it's that faith and belief that you have individually, even if it's a belief and faith that nothing exists other than what you can see, it's still a faith and a belief.
Absolutely.
So it's your own religion, essentially. And yeah, I still think that can manifest energies. And that's obviously what spirits are.
I agree. And like I said earlier, talking about this with doing the tech, I like messing with people who say they're all tech and they don't believe in metaphysical stomach. So what's a ghost? The spirit. So you're trying to prove spirituality, a spirit, by only scientific means. Isn't that kind of oxymoron? Don't they kind of go hand in hand?
Yeah, absolutely.
Spirituality, a spirit.
I think though, mind you, describing them personally, you could probably leave the oxy out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a lot of them I can. But I wasn't going to go there this time.
I thought I'd go there for you.
Thank you. See, if one of us don't do it, the other one will.
Darn about this, Terry.
Oh yeah, Kerry's not very well, unfortunately.
Paul and Richard again.
Yeah.
You guys don't keep up together.
Oh dear.
She is dearly missed. I hope she's all right. Gets feeling better.
Yeah, I'm sure she will be.
We got a message from her earlier. She's had something to eat and gone straight to bed. So yeah, she's going to sleep it off.
It's a Friday night and you're doing that. That's not good.
Yeah, Friday night. Oh yeah, it's Friday night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Say, wait a minute, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'll probably do the same thing. Get something to eat, go to bed.
Yeah, just something to eat, go to bed.
Yeah, that's it.
You
like
that?
Friday nights,
Yes, they are.
Way different.
Oh dear.
A good night out now is in a haunted location.
So what exciting places did you go to on your road trip?
This past one, we just, like I said, we just went to Toledo. Tomorrow we're going to go out cruising about. I've this is just how kind of weird I've gotten anymore with this, that I'll grab my cameras and I'll get Teresa in the car and we would drive around old back roads and stuff trying to find abandoned places and stuff. I'll photograph them and have her try to see what she can feel off of them, see what she can read off of them. And then of course we don't know whether we're at or whether it was, so we'll write down the address and the road and stuff if it has any kind of markers and things. And then I'll do searches on the internet to find out what I can find and why it was abandoned, and see what, all the public records about it, to see what kind of history I can find, see if it can correlate with anything that she captures and that she felt and sensed from the location.
So have you got a place that you're going to tomorrow?
No, I'm just going to go find a place. Just drive about randomly until we find something.
That's a new twist on urban exploring, isn't it?
Yeah, I tend to use Google Maps and just scour the fields.
No, we just jump in the car and go. We pack up some drinks
and he'll say, "Do you want me to go left, right, or go straight ahead?"
Yeah,
but that's okay. Just to find the places that are along the roadside.
Yeah, just find abandoned places along the way, and see what she feels from it, and what she gets and senses from it, and then do some back research on it to see what we can find. Public records.
I mean, in the UK, I mean, I'm assuming it's the same over in the US. That we have things that are like tucked away in like middle of woods and things like that.
Yep.
That's why I tend to use Google Maps, because you can scan the whole area, not just by the roadside. So if you know roughly where the house or whatever is abandoned, you can see around the field and find out where the gap is in the fence that you can drive to.
It's pretty easy right now because the leaves are just starting, the trees are starting really to bud out. So
through
the winter it's easy to see the things. Plus, I like to just get out and drive about and see the countryside and just see what you see. And I've gotten a habit. I'd love to take pictures of old barns and things like that, and especially they got a piece of old equipment around them and grown up and things. So So, but when we find like a residence or something like that, or an old business out in the middle of nowhere, just wing it and see what happens.
We did the one where we were going to Little Nashville.
Yeah.
We drove by and I was like, oh my gosh, didn't you see that house? And he's like, what? I turned around and came back, and there was a whole bunch of vultures sitting on the crook of this old house.
And also on the barn.
Yeah.
On the crest of the barn. So she took a reading off the house, and I started taking pictures, and I told her to kind of write down or record what she was feeling and sensing, and see what we could find later. And it was kind of interesting how it did that. What little bit of history we could find out about it. Plus, we like going to some of these smaller towns, and especially when we got a lot of over here, they're trying to revitalize their downtowns.
Yeah.
And so these are old historic buildings for us, which for you guys are babies. I mean, a couple 100 years old instead of centuries.
Yeah.
But get inside there and start talking with them and stuff, and introduce ourselves and kind of talk about. Then I start talking about how we paranormal investigate and about Teresa's abilities and stuff, and the conversation. People start talking about the history that they know and what they've experienced and things, or they'll ask Teresa, say, well, what do you feel anything in here? And that's what I love it the most when they ask her, do you feel anything? And then she tells them what she's sensing, and they either confirm or, what she's feeling and stuff, or say, well, no, we haven't got that before, but do you feel anything else? And, and a lot of times they'll actually wait for see what she tells them. And they're like, yeah, we have heard that. We have done that. And then they'll tell, and they'll tell them what they experienced in their side of the story and stuff.
Have you found
that they can enjoy it?
Yeah. Have you found that more people were open and welcoming to that sort of conversation, or do you think, sometimes or most of the time that they're like, no, we don't believe in ghosts and we're not interested?
We find more people agreeing to talk about it than not.
Absolutely.
The majority of them are usually elderly people. They're like, oh, that's all just Hodge. That's posh.
Yeah.
That's polycock. And they'll just dismiss it. But people our age and younger, especially, seem to be more, because Teresa and I are both in our mid-50s, so I'd say between about 60, 65 and younger seem to be more open to it. More people are more willing to discuss it, and their eyes light up. You say, well, she knows she's a psychic medium sensitive. She can sense things. And like, oh, really? What do you feel? What do you feel in the building right now? And then she starts, getting a little second. And I just sit back and enjoy it and take pictures and watch that connection in it. And it's just, we do it. If we don't have an event going on or an investigation going on, we do it about every other weekend. We take off and just go find a town until we don't even have like you use Google Maps. We just drive. We come across something. We're like, oh, let's go walk around down here. Let's go into this shop and see what's going on. Talk with them a little bit. Just gotta get to know the history of the town, the people, and the building and stuff. And it's just, people are so willing to be. I think it's because they were locked up for so long, for 2 years, without any really communication and interaction, that right now people are willing to be open and communicate. They want to talk.
Yeah.
They want that connection again. They missed it, and I'm taking advantage of it to my fullest extent. I enjoy myself.
Yeah, no, I have even said to Richard when we were on our road trips and that, sometimes it's best to find these places when you get lost. So get lost.
Yeah, get lost.
Like everybody's got Google Maps on their phone. You can get lost until you open up Google Maps. You're no longer lost.
Yeah, that's what I said to That's what I said to Richard. We can just drive anywhere, just point the car and go. It don't matter where we end up, because we can just turn the sat nav on and it'll take us straight home.
Yep. Yeah, we just point the car in a rough direction, don't we? And just go.
Yep.
Well, that's it. I mean, like the weekend, we went to those two churches because we knew that's where the destination was.
Yeah.
And then we Google Maps and we're like, oh, Lowestoft isn't too far away, seaside town.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
The seaside, yeah.
I've got about 5 or 6 now. 6 abandoned churches I found on some of these little trips.
Yeah.
Just weeds growing up around them. Buildings are falling apart.
4 or 5. The one trip we did 4 or 5 in a row.
Yeah, just
really?
Different denominations. They're just left abandoned. They didn't, not enough people going to it, and they closed it up and moved to another town and just left everything. I'm like, this is, and they some of the pictures, especially with the stained glass and stuff, and the sun hitting through them or on them, and and growing up and things. Like, yeah, I like that shot. I
think in the UK they don't tend to abandon the churches, and if they do, it's not very long before they're turned into flats.
Oh no, there's amazing. I mean, houses and buildings and stuff around this country that are abandoned. It's just, and what's making me mad about it is right now they're abandoning some buildings that could be reused quite easily. But instead of reusing, purposing those, they're going into other areas where there's, for us, historical buildings, and they're tearing those down to build new stuff. I'm like, why would you? Yeah, whatever. I get one close to my work. It's actually a sandstone building that all the stones were brought over here from the UK and put back together. And they're tearing it down, but they come into an influx that somewhere in the 30s or 40s, when they went to do some insulation in there on the piping things, they had to run them on the outside of the rocks on the side, so they're exposed. They spread it with asbestos. So now the state doesn't want to clean it up. The Historical Society was the responsibility, and the feds don't want the responsibility to clean it up. But they tear it down. They have to clean it so they can tear it down. But if they clean it up, there's no point in tearing it down. So they're all at catch-22 to wait to see which one's going to do the job.
Yeah, they wait till it falls down and then it's done.
There it sits.
Oh, that building's going to stand for another 150, 200 years. It's amazing. The blocks are at least 2.5, 3 foot thick.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, obviously it's going to stand for a long time because the British built it, you know.
Touche. I deserve that. That was good. That was good.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm supposed to get offended by that, aren't I? Oops.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Better luck next time.
Give the UK 1, the US 0 on that one.
Right, as we're coming towards the end of the show now.
Yeah, we are.
That's gone quick. Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find us on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat.
I'm Facebook only.
Yeah, Teresa pretty much on Facebook. You can find us on our personal pages, J. Lynch or Teresa Lynch. You can also find us on, LEP Productions. That's LEP Productions on Facebook, Instagram, also on YouTube. We put a lot of our stuff out there for our podcasts and things like that. Bodie and the Bigfoot's on there also. He's one of our characters that we have. He's wonderful. Bigfoot in bibbed overalls. You need to go check that out. He's also goes on Facebook and Instagram page.
Now,
I'd say he's also got his own action figure out now, hasn't he?
Yes. He's, and in fact, it's sitting right beside me. He gets his own personal action figure now.
Yeah, I want one.
And a bobblehead. He's got his own bobblehead too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, he's gotten associated with Squatch GQ Energy Drink. It is an energy drink here that we're in the final stages of working with Walmart to get it picked up by them to be distributed, and we're in the process now for them to. It's been approved for the U.S. From what I understand, we're doing the international reviews and all that stuff now for it to get picked up by there. Almost no caffeine in it. It's more all natural stuff, energy drink. They got a sugar-free and a regular. So Bodine is the Bigfoot is the spokesperson for him, and
fantastic.
So he's quite busy with that. In fact, he's got us booked up into about 4 Bigfoot conventions this year where he's got to make personal appearances.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
Going well. Yeah. Are you on TikTok yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I watch it more than anything.
You see, you don't do any of the videos and the silly
I've made a
dances and
couple.
things.
I've made a couple so far, but there's a couple that I wanted to make, and Teresa's like, "I'm not helping you with that."
I don't want to know.
Yeah, don't hide.
It's not that bad, but she doesn't like my sense of humor sometimes because she thinks I go a little bit too
far.
Well, we got to push the boundaries of things. I don't. There's no vulgarity in it. There's no nudity or nothing like that. There's not even any foul offensive language.
Oh, there you go. Get him on TikTok as well.
Yeah, so I'm always doing something somewhere. I'm more active on Facebook and Instagram than any place else. Yeah. But and like I said, with our LEP Productions page, all of our shorts and movies and episodes, all that stuff will be coming out on there because we've gotten all the equipment now. We got the LLC, so we're good to go full bore now.
Fantastic. I'll be checking those out.
Be having some fun.
Definitely.
I promise not to do anything intelligent that often. Well, that takes everybody else can do that. If everybody can do it, why do it?
Yes.
What else is doing?
All right.
Do something new. That's what you got to do.
No matter how bad it hurts.
Absolutely. Get the ratings up somehow, haven't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
Take one way or another.
So, Richard, would you like to do the honours with the housekeeping?
Oh yes, the housekeeping. You can catch up with us here on the Paranormal Concept Show over on our website, where we have we've still got some blogs up, haven't we, Paul?
We do, yeah. We've still got some
Yeah,
blogs.
we've still got some blogs, and you can find our books on there as well, and a complete back catalogue of all our shows, and that is www.paranormalconcept.com.
Yeah, that's it, I think. We've covered
That's
everything
about
there.
it. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so thanks for joining us, Jay and Teresa. As always, it's been a pleasure, and we'll get you on again sometime soon.
Oh, thank you guys
We're
for having us.
available anytime.
Love talking with you guys and miss you.
Yeah.
Good talking with you.
No worries. As I said, it's been a pleasure. So yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said. So thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you all again next week. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.